Life will always present challenges, setbacks, and distractions, but what truly matters is how we choose to respond. Developing habits that strengthen our emotional control and mental resilience is the key to thriving in any situation. In this video, we'll explore 10 things you must work on every day to stay calm, focused, and unshaken no matter what comes your way. Let's start with the first habit that will set you on the path to mastering your mind and emotions. Habit 1, mastering emotional control. The first habit you need to work on every day is mastering emotional control. Life is full of surprises, both good and bad. People will disappoint you. Obstacles will arise and setbacks will challenge you. These situations are inevitable, but how you respond to them is where your true strength lies. As Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, powerfully said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." This simple yet profound quote underscores the importance of the space between what happens to us and how we choose to respond. It's that space where we have the ability to control our emotions and reactions, and it's in that control that we find our true power. Too often, we give away our power by reacting impulsively to situations. It might be anger when someone cuts you off in traffic, frustration when things don't go your way, or self-doubt when you fail at something. These emotional responses drain your energy and often lead to regret or unnecessary stress. But when you take a step back and choose how to respond, when you remain calm and composed, you reclaim your power and set yourself up for success. The key to mastering emotional control lies in detachment. Detaching your emotions from external events. When you let your emotions be controlled by what happens around you, you become a puppet to those forces. For example, if you let someone's rude comment ruin your day, you're allowing them to have control over your emotions. But if you detach yourself from their words, you free yourself from their negative impact. In doing so, you take back control. But detachment doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or pretend they don't exist. Emotions are natural and they have their place. What detachment means is choosing when to engage with them. Not every situation demands an emotional reaction. When you practice emotional control, you allow yourself to acknowledge your feelings without immediately acting on them. This creates space for rational thinking and helps you make better decisions. One of the best ways to build emotional control is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness means being present in the moment without judgment. When you're mindful, you're aware of your emotions, but you don't let them control you. For instance, if someone criticizes you at work, instead of immediately feeling defensive or upset, you can acknowledge the emotion of feeling hurt or frustrated. But instead of reacting impulsively, you choose to pause and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Visualizing emotional control is another powerful tool. Before you encounter a stressful situation, take a moment to imagine yourself handling it with calm and poise. Picture yourself facing a challenge, whether it's a difficult conversation or a stressful task, and see yourself remaining composed, thinking clearly, and acting thoughtfully. This visualization technique trains your brain to respond in a controlled way when faced with similar situations in real life. As you practice emotional control daily, you'll begin to notice that you can handle stressful situations with greater ease. You won't be thrown off course by every little obstacle or setback. Instead, you'll be able to remain calm, think clearly, and act with purpose. Emotional control is not about avoiding emotions. It's about learning how to manage them and using them to your advantage. Imagine a scenario where someone insults you in public. Most people's natural response would be to feel anger, defensiveness, or frustration. But imagine instead that you simply smile and walk away. The person who insulted you is left feeling unsettled, confused by your non-reaction. You've taken away their power over you, and in the process, you've walked away stronger, more composed, and unaffected. This is emotional control in action. Mastering emotional control doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always easy. But by practicing these habits daily, pausing before reacting, visualizing calm responses, being mindful of your emotions, and focusing on what truly matters, you'll slowly build resilience. Each small victory in emotional control strengthens your ability to stay composed in even the most challenging situations. Remember, emotional control isn't about being cold or detached from the world around you. It's about choosing how to respond rather than being ruled by your emotions. It's about creating space between what happens to you and how you choose to react, giving you the freedom to rise above the noise and maintain your inner peace. By working on emotional control every day, you'll not only build mental toughness, but also develop a sense of inner peace that will empower you to face anything life throws at you. As Dalai Lama wisely said, we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. So, take control of your emotions and the world will follow. Habit 2, cultivating emotional detachment. The second habit to develop is cultivating emotional detachment. In a world filled with constant distractions, opinions, and judgments, it's easy to get caught up in the noise. Every comment, every setback, and every negative situation can leave you emotionally drained if you let them. But what if you could learn to move through life without being affected by every little thing that happens around you? As Eckhart Tolle, a modern-day spiritual teacher, reminds us, whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from the world. This is the essence of emotional detachment, the ability to detach your emotions from external circumstances. When you're attached to every external event and let it dictate your feelings, you allow the world to control your emotional state. But when you cultivate detachment, you stop allowing these outside forces to affect your peace and happiness. Emotional detachment doesn't mean being indifferent to the world or avoiding emotions altogether. Instead, it's about choosing where to direct your emotional energy. It's about recognizing that your emotions don't need to be influenced by the opinions or actions of others. When you stop relying on external validation, you give yourself the freedom to act from your own values, rather than reacting to everything happening around you. In practice, detachment can be incredibly powerful. Imagine being in a situation where someone criticizes your work or questions your decisions. The immediate emotional reaction might be defensiveness or self-doubt. But emotional detachment teaches you to pause before you react, to recognize that their criticism is just one perspective and doesn't define your worth. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, you detach from the need to prove yourself and instead focus on what you can learn from the situation. One of the most effective ways to practice emotional detachment is by learning to let go of expectations. We often set ourselves up for disappointment by expecting things to unfold in a specific way. Whether it's expecting people to treat us a certain way or expecting outcomes to align with our plans, these expectations create a mental attachment to the way we think things should be. When things don't go according to plan, our emotions can spiral into frustration or disappointment. But by letting go of these expectations, we free ourselves from these emotional traps. Another important element of detachment is understanding that external circumstances are temporary. People's opinions, setbacks, and challenges are all part of life's ebb and flow. They come and go, but your emotional state doesn't have to be attached to them. When you accept this truth, you realize that these external events don't have the power to control your emotional state. By practicing detachment, you remain grounded and unaffected by the ever-changing nature of the world around you. Start small with this practice. The next time something happens that would normally upset you, a criticism, a delay, a mistake, take a moment to breathe and reframe the situation. Ask yourself, does this situation need to consume my energy? Can I choose to remain calm and move on, or will I let it throw me off course? With time, this practice will become second nature, and you'll find yourself more centered, no matter the challenges life presents. The beauty of emotional detachment is that it helps you develop inner strength. When you're not relying on others to make you feel good, or on circumstances to go in your favor, you create an unshakable foundation within yourself. You begin to realize that your peace and happiness are not dependent on what's happening around you. They come from within. The more you detach from the noise and focus on your own growth and values, the more you will move through life with a calm, unbothered presence. People will start to notice your steadiness and confidence, and you'll have the ability to handle any situation without being emotionally swept away. Ultimately, emotional detachment allows you to take charge of your emotional well-being. It helps you stop being a victim to circumstances and instead take control of your emotional responses. When you practice emotional detachment, you stop giving your power away to the external world, and instead, you become the master of your emotions. Habit 3, detaching from criticism. The third habit to develop is learning how to detach from criticism. Whether it's constructive or destructive, criticism is an inevitable part of life. It's something we all face, whether at work, in relationships, or in social settings. The challenge isn't in avoiding criticism, it's in how we respond to it. Most people allow criticism to affect their self-worth, causing frustration, self-doubt, or even anger. But what if you could look at criticism as just another piece of feedback, without letting it shake your confidence or derail your progress? As Aristotle wisely put it, it is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. This applies perfectly to criticism. Just because someone says something about you or your work doesn't mean it's true or that you need to internalize it. The first step in detaching from criticism is learning to separate yourself from what others say. Remember, someone else's opinion of you is not your reality. When you learn to accept criticism without letting it define you, you maintain your peace and sense of self. There's a big difference between constructive criticism, feedback meant to help you improve, and destructive criticism, which is often rooted in jealousy, ignorance, or insecurity. Constructive criticism provides valuable insights that help you grow, while destructive criticism tends to break you down, often with no intention of helping you. The key is to filter the criticism you receive. Ask yourself, is this criticism meant to help me improve? Is there truth in it that I can learn from? If the answer is yes, take what you can from it and use it for growth. If it's simply meant to attack or belittle you, dismiss it and don't let it affect you. One way to practice detaching from criticism is by taking a step back and pausing before reacting. Our natural instinct when criticized is often to defend ourselves, argue back, or feel hurt. But in these moments, it's important to give yourself space, pause before responding, and ask yourself, does this comment matter in the long run? Is this person's opinion truly going to change my path or goals? By creating that space, you allow yourself to choose a thoughtful response rather than an emotional one. Another strategy is to focus on your own values and goals. When you are clear about who you are and what you're working towards, external opinions have less power over you. If someone criticizes you, remind yourself that you are in charge of your own journey. Their words don't define your worth, nor do they determine your success. It's helpful to visualize yourself as confident and grounded, regardless of what others say. The more you reinforce this image of yourself, the less impact criticism will have. It's also helpful to accept that no matter what you do, some people will criticize you. Not everyone will agree with you, and not everyone will understand your choices. This is part of life. When you embrace this truth, it becomes easier to detach emotionally from criticism. You understand that criticism is a natural consequence of pursuing anything meaningful. When you realize this, you stop taking it personally and start seeing it as a sign that you are doing something worth talking about. Over time, by practicing detachment from criticism, you develop emotional resilience. You become less susceptible to the sting of negative feedback and more able to focus on the things that truly matter to you. Instead of getting caught up in defending yourself or feeling defeated, you'll be able to stay focused on your goals and your personal growth. It's important to remember that criticism doesn't determine your worth. What matters is how you respond to it. If you allow criticism to consume you, it takes away your power. But when you detach from it and use it as an opportunity for reflection and improvement, you become stronger and more focused. Every day, practice detaching from criticism, whether it's a harsh comment from a colleague, a judgment from a friend, or an opinion from someone online. Choose to respond with clarity and self-assurance, rather than letting it affect your peace of mind. The more you practice, the more you'll realize that criticism, no matter how harsh, has no power over you unless you give it that power. By detaching from criticism, you stay focused on your personal journey and growth, unaffected by the negativity around you. Habit 4, training your mind daily. The fourth habit to develop is training your mind every day. Just as we work on our physical fitness, our mental and emotional strength also needs consistent practice. In fact, the mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Developing emotional resilience and mental toughness requires regular, intentional effort. By training your mind daily, you build the foundation for success, peace, and control, no matter what challenges come your way. One of the key aspects of training your mind is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to stay present in the moment without judgment. It's about focusing on what is happening right now, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When you're mindful, you become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. You notice when your mind starts to wander, or when negative thoughts begin to take hold. With this awareness, you can choose to redirect your focus and remain grounded in the present. As Jon Kabat-Zinn, a pioneer of mindfulness, says, mindfulness is not about getting anywhere else. It's about being where you are and being with yourself in the moment with no judgment. This idea of being fully present and aware is key to training your mind. By practicing mindfulness daily, you learn how to observe your thoughts and emotions without immediately reacting to them. This creates a powerful mental space where you can choose how to respond, rather than simply reacting out of habit. Another important aspect of training your mind is developing self-discipline. Discipline is the ability to control your impulses, stay focused on your goals, and consistently follow through on your commitments. Without discipline, even the best intentions can fall short. But with daily practice, discipline becomes a natural part of your routine. It helps you stay on track, no matter how difficult or tempting the distractions might be. A great way to practice self-discipline is by setting small, achievable goals each day. Whether it's working on a project, exercising, or practicing a new skill, setting a goal and committing to it strengthens your mental focus. Over time, you'll notice that it becomes easier to follow through on your commitments. You'll also gain a sense of accomplishment that motivates you to keep going. One of the most effective exercises for training your mind is pausing before reacting. In today's fast-paced world, we're often quick to react, whether it's to a difficult situation, a criticism, or an unexpected change. But reacting impulsively can often make things worse. Instead, practice the habit of taking a brief pause before responding to anything that triggers an emotional reaction. In this pause, ask yourself, does this situation really deserve my reaction? Is this in line with my long-term goals and values? By taking this moment of reflection, you create space between stimulus and response, giving yourself the opportunity to make more thoughtful, intentional decisions. Visualization is another powerful tool for training your mind. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing yourself handling challenging situations with calm, confidence, and clarity. Picture yourself remaining composed in stressful moments, whether it's a tough conversation, a difficult task, or a setback. This mental practice strengthens your ability to remain calm and in control when similar situations arise in real life. Additionally, positive affirmations can help train your mind to focus on the positive aspects of life. When you repeat affirmations, you rewire your brain to focus on what you want to achieve rather than what you fear. For example, telling yourself, I am capable, I control my emotions, or I can handle anything that comes my way, boosts your confidence and helps shift your mindset to one of strength and possibility. The more you practice these affirmations, the more natural they become, creating a positive mental framework that guides you through challenges. To strengthen your mental habits, it's also important to reflect daily on your actions, thoughts, and feelings. Before bed, take a few minutes to think about your day. What went well? What could you improve? How did you handle challenges or setbacks? Reflection allows you to evaluate your mental growth and identify areas where you can improve. This self-awareness is crucial for personal development. In essence, training your mind daily involves consistent practice and intentional effort. By incorporating mindfulness, self-discipline, visualization, and positive reflection into your daily routine, you lay the groundwork for emotional resilience and mental clarity. The more you train your mind, the better equipped you'll be to face life's challenges with strength, confidence, and calm. Remember, mental toughness isn't something you develop overnight. It's built over time through consistent practice. By making these practices part of your daily routine, you'll gradually develop the mental control and emotional resilience that will empower you to handle anything life throws your way. Over time, you'll find that your mind becomes your strongest ally, helping you stay focused, calm, and in control of your emotions no matter what challenges arise. Habit 5, handling pressure with composure. The fifth habit to develop is handling pressure with composure. Life is full of pressure-filled moments. Deadlines at work, high-stakes decisions, conflicts, or unexpected challenges. The ability to remain calm and composed under pressure is one of the most powerful skills you can cultivate. In fact, it's often what separates those who succeed from those who falter. The key is not to avoid pressure, but to train yourself to manage it effectively so it doesn't control you. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This powerful mindset shift teaches us that pressure and obstacles are not something to fear, but something to embrace and learn from. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by challenges, we can choose to face them with calm and clarity, knowing that they are an opportunity for growth. When you're under pressure, it's easy to get caught up in panic or frustration, but the key to composure is preparation. The more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel when pressure arises. Preparation comes in many forms. It could be organizing your tasks, planning ahead, or simply building the mental fortitude to stay calm when things get tough. When you feel unprepared, pressure can feel like a heavy weight. But when you're prepared, pressure becomes an opportunity to demonstrate your resilience and problem-solving skills. One way to handle pressure is by reframing your mindset. Instead of viewing pressure as a threat, see it as a challenge you can overcome. When you're under pressure, try to shift your perspective by asking yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I use this challenge to grow? By seeing pressure as a tool for growth, you not only reduce stress, but also empower yourself to face the situation with clarity and purpose. Another key to handling pressure is taking a step back to breathe. When things get tense, it's easy to get caught up in the moment, and that's when emotions can take over. But by practicing a brief pause, taking a few deep breaths and stepping away for a moment, you give yourself the space to reset. This simple act of breathing allows you to regain your composure and respond with a clearer mind. In moments of pressure, remember that your first reaction doesn't have to be the one you act on. The pause is your opportunity to regain control and make thoughtful decisions. Visualization is another powerful tool for staying composed under pressure. Before entering a high-pressure situation, take a few minutes to visualize yourself handling it with calmness and confidence. Picture yourself moving through the situation step by step, maintaining control of your emotions and making clear, focused decisions. This mental rehearsal prepares your mind to respond calmly when the pressure arrives. One practical way to handle pressure is by focusing on the process rather than the outcome. Often we feel pressure because we're fixated on the end result, whether it's meeting a deadline, closing a deal, or delivering a presentation. However, when you focus too much on the outcome, the pressure intensifies and anxiety builds. Instead, focus on the small, actionable steps you need to take to get to your goal. By concentrating on the process rather than the outcome, you stay grounded in the present moment and prevent the overwhelming weight of the final result from causing stress. Another approach is to prioritize tasks when faced with multiple sources of pressure. When everything feels urgent and important, it can be easy to spiral into panic. To regain composure, take a moment to evaluate your tasks and decide which ones require immediate attention and which can be handled later. Break the overwhelming task list into smaller, more manageable pieces and focus on completing one step at a time. By taking things one step at a time, you reduce the overwhelming feeling of pressure and gain a clearer sense of control. Finally, self-compassion plays an important role in handling pressure. Understand that it's okay to feel stressed or pressured, but don't be too hard on yourself. Accept that not everything will go perfectly and that mistakes are part of the learning process. When you treat yourself with kindness and patience during moments of pressure, you reduce self-imposed stress and give yourself the grace to handle the situation with composure. Handling pressure with composure isn't about being emotionless. It's about managing your emotional responses to external stressors. It's about creating space between the pressure you feel and the reaction you choose. Over time, by practicing these strategies, you'll find that pressure no longer overwhelms you. Instead, it becomes an opportunity for you to rise to the occasion and show your true strength. The ability to handle pressure is a key factor in achieving success and maintaining your well-being. It's a skill that, like any other, can be developed with consistent practice. So the next time you're faced with a high-pressure situation, remember to breathe, shift your mindset, and focus on the process. With practice, you'll find that pressure becomes not something that breaks you, but something that helps you grow stronger and more resilient. Habit 6, silence as a power move. The sixth habit to develop is mastering the power of silence. In a world where everyone is eager to speak and be heard, silence can be an incredibly powerful tool. Most people are quick to fill the silence with words, seeking validation or trying to prove themselves. But those who truly command respect are often the ones who don't feel the need to constantly speak. They understand the immense value of silence, how it can speak volumes without a single word. As Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, wisely said, "Silence is a source of great strength." This speaks to the profound impact silence can have on both our external interactions and our internal world. When you embrace silence, you not only convey confidence and control, but you also give yourself the opportunity to listen, reflect, and observe. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's a deliberate choice to withhold unnecessary words and let your actions or presence do the talking. One of the primary benefits of silence is its ability to command respect. Think of the most influential people in history. Many of them were not the loudest voices in the room. Instead, they spoke with intention, choosing their words carefully. Their silence became their strength, allowing their presence to command attention without needing to shout for it. By adopting this habit, you too can project an aura of calm authority. When you learn to remain silent, you become an enigma. People will look at you and wonder how you maintain such composure. Silence is also a strategic tool. In negotiations, difficult conversations, or high-pressure situations, silence gives you the upper hand. Imagine you're in a business meeting where a tough decision needs to be made, or you're in a heated discussion. Instead of filling the air with unnecessary comments or arguments, remain silent. This creates a space where others begin to feel uncomfortable, making them more likely to offer concessions or reveal information. The longer you wait, the more power you have. Silence makes people second-guess their positions, giving you the chance to make a well-thought-out move. Additionally, silence fosters deeper listening. When we speak, we often have our own thoughts and opinions racing, which can prevent us from truly listening to others. But when we remain silent, we open ourselves to hearing what others are saying, and not just with our ears, but with our minds and hearts. Silence allows you to process information more clearly without being distracted by the need to respond immediately. It helps you assess a situation more accurately and respond more thoughtfully. In everyday life, silence can also prevent unnecessary conflict. Sometimes, when we react too quickly to something that bothers us, we escalate the situation or make things worse. By choosing silence, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect on whether or not your response is truly needed. Often, in those moments, you realize that saying nothing at all is the wisest decision. Silence can act as a buffer, preventing rash decisions that are driven by emotion or impulse. The power of silence also lies in its ability to preserve your energy. Constantly speaking, explaining, and justifying yourself drains your mental and emotional resources. By choosing silence, you conserve your energy and avoid getting caught up in unnecessary dramas or debates. Instead of spending time defending yourself or your actions, silence allows you to stay focused on what truly matters and to maintain your sense of peace. Another powerful aspect of silence is its ability to create mystery and intrigue. When you speak less, people begin to pay more attention to what you do say. Your words carry more weight because they are not drowned out by constant chatter. You become someone who speaks with intention, and when you do speak, people listen. This creates a certain magnetism. Others will be curious about your thoughts, opinions, and actions, but they won't always be able to predict them. To integrate silence into your daily routine, start by observing your tendency to fill conversations with unnecessary words. When you find yourself in situations where you would normally speak impulsively, choose to pause and listen instead. Practice the art of responding thoughtfully rather than reflexively. Over time, you'll find that silence becomes a natural part of your interactions. You'll feel more centered, and you'll notice that others begin to respect and admire your composure. In the long run, the habit of silence strengthens your emotional control and deepens your self-awareness. It allows you to step back from the noise of the world, giving you the space to reflect on your thoughts, actions, and reactions. By practicing silence, you gain more clarity and perspective, which ultimately makes you more effective in every area of your life. Silence isn't just about saying less, it's about saying more with less. It's about choosing when to speak and when to remain still, letting your actions, presence, and energy communicate far more than words ever could. By mastering the power of silence, you'll discover a strength and influence that goes beyond words, and you'll move through life with a quiet, unshakable confidence. Habit 7, avoiding emotional reaction. The seventh habit to develop is avoiding emotional reactions. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to let your emotions take control and lead you to react impulsively, whether that's getting angry when you're criticized, feeling frustrated when things don't go your way, or reacting defensively when faced with a challenge. But these emotional responses often make the situation worse, and they drain your energy. The key to mastering this habit is learning to pause, gain perspective, and choose how to respond consciously instead of reacting automatically. As the great Mahatma Gandhi once said, "You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty." This concept applies to your emotional world as well. When a negative situation or criticism arises, it's easy to feel like everything around you is dirty or wrong. But you don't have to let a few moments of frustration dictate your emotional state. You can rise above them by avoiding knee-jerk reactions. The first step in avoiding emotional reactions is learning the art of pausing. Instead of responding immediately to something that triggers you, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and ask yourself if the situation truly requires an emotional response. More often than not, the answer is no. By creating space between the trigger and your reaction, you give yourself time to think, calm your emotions, and decide how best to move forward. One powerful technique for avoiding emotional reactions is mindful awareness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully aware of your emotions without letting them control your behavior. When you feel an emotional reaction rising within you, notice it without judgment. Acknowledge the feeling, whether it's anger, frustration, sadness, or anxiety, but don't let it dictate your actions. By recognizing your emotions without reacting to them, you reclaim your power and avoid making impulsive decisions that could hurt you or others. Another key to avoiding emotional reactions is changing your perspective. Often we react emotionally because we take things personally. If someone criticizes you or disagrees with you, your first instinct might be to defend yourself or feel hurt. But by reminding yourself that not every opinion or situation reflects on your worth, you can detach from the emotional charge. Instead of feeling personally attacked, view the situation from a neutral standpoint. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Does this person's opinion truly define who I am? This shift in perspective helps you avoid emotional reactions and respond in a more balanced, thoughtful way. It's also important to set boundaries to avoid emotional overwhelm. If you find that certain people or situations trigger strong emotional reactions, it's okay to distance yourself or set clear boundaries to protect your mental and emotional health. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out, they're about taking control of how much emotional energy you allow others to take from you. By setting boundaries, you safeguard your peace and avoid unnecessary emotional turmoil. An effective way to avoid emotional reactions is to practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right in your life. When you feel yourself getting triggered, take a moment to focus on things you're grateful for. This simple habit can help you quickly regain perspective and diffuse negative emotions. When you're grateful, you're less likely to be swept away by emotions and more likely to remain calm and focused on the positive aspects of life. You can also reframe your thinking by challenging your initial emotional reaction. When something triggers you, ask yourself, is this situation really as bad as it seems? What's the worst that could happen? Is there another way to look at this? By reframing your thoughts, you can reduce the intensity of your emotions and avoid reacting in a way that you might regret later. The more you practice avoiding emotional reactions, the more naturally it will come. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about choosing not to let them control you. Over time, you'll develop a greater sense of emotional resilience and become less susceptible to the ups and downs of life. You'll be able to stay calm in the face of adversity, make clearer decisions, and maintain your peace in situations that used to trigger you. Ultimately, the habit of avoiding emotional reactions helps you maintain control over your emotional well-being. When you stop reacting impulsively, you begin to act more intentionally, making choices that align with your goals, values, and long-term vision. Instead of feeling tossed around by life's challenges, you'll learn how to navigate them with calm clarity and confidence. And by avoiding emotional reactions, you not only preserve your energy, but also cultivate a mindset that remains steady and focused, no matter what life throws at you. Habit 8, the value of discipline. The 8th habit to focus on is the value of discipline. Discipline is the foundation for success, growth, and self-mastery. It's the ability to stay consistent and committed to your goals, even when faced with distractions, discomfort, or temptation. Without discipline, achieving anything meaningful becomes much harder. Whether it's working on your personal goals, developing new habits, or maintaining healthy relationships, discipline plays a key role in shaping the life you want to live. As Jim Rohn, a renowned motivational speaker, said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." This quote perfectly encapsulates the importance of discipline in achieving success. It's not enough to have goals or dreams. Discipline is the key that turns those aspirations into reality. Discipline allows you to stay focused on the long-term picture and avoid getting sidetracked by short-term distraction. It helps you develop the persistence needed to push through difficult times and stay on course when motivation wanes. Discipline starts with self-control. Self-control is the ability to resist impulses and delay gratification. This doesn't mean denying yourself joy or pleasure, but rather making conscious choices about when and how to indulge. For example, if you want to achieve your fitness goals, self-control might mean saying no to unhealthy foods or skipping a night out to rest so you can perform at your best the next day. The more you practice self-control, the easier it becomes to make decisions that align with your long-term goals rather than giving in to temporary desires. Another aspect of discipline is consistency. To build and maintain discipline, it's crucial to show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Whether you're working on a project, learning a new skill, or building a routine, consistency is what ensures progress. It's not about working in bursts of motivation, but about making the commitment to put in the effort every single day. Tony Robbins, a well-known motivational speaker, puts it, "It's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but what we do consistently." To cultivate consistency, break your bigger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. This makes them less overwhelming and more achievable. When you complete these small tasks every day, you build momentum, and over time, those small actions lead to significant achievements. Whether it's waking up early, Exercising, reading, or dedicating time to your work, these small habits add up and make a massive impact in the long run. One of the most challenging aspects of discipline is maintaining it when things don't go according to plan. Life will inevitably throw obstacles your way, whether it's a setback at work, a personal issue, or just a day when you don't feel motivated. However, resilience is a vital component of discipline. It's about not letting failures or difficulties derail your progress. Instead, you adapt, learn from mistakes, and keep moving forward. To build resilience and stay disciplined, it helps to develop a strong why, a clear and compelling reason for why you're pursuing your goals. When your why is strong enough, it keeps you focused even during difficult times. For example, if you're working towards a career goal, remind yourself of the bigger picture. Whether it's financial freedom, helping others, or achieving personal fulfillment, a strong why serves as the anchor that keeps you grounded and motivated, even when the road gets tough. Time management is also a critical aspect of discipline. The better you manage your time, the more productive and focused you will be. Time management involves setting priorities, planning your day, and eliminating distractions. One effective way to manage time is by using time blocks, assigning specific periods for specific tasks. For example, you might set aside 30 minutes in the morning to write or read, followed by an hour of focused work, then a short break, and so on. This structured approach helps you stay on task and avoid wasting time. A crucial part of discipline is also self-reflection. At the end of each day or week, take a moment to reflect on your progress. Did you stay on track with your goals? Were there any areas where you struggled with discipline? Self-reflection helps you identify patterns and make adjustments where needed. It also helps you acknowledge and celebrate your wins, no matter how small, which boosts motivation and reinforces your commitment to staying disciplined. Discipline is not something you achieve overnight. It's a habit that must be built over time. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to grow. But as you continue to practice discipline, you'll find that it becomes second nature. You'll begin to trust yourself more, knowing that you can stay focused and consistent even when challenges arise. And as you develop greater discipline, you will unlock your full potential, achieve your goals, and experience the satisfaction that comes with accomplishing what you set out to do. Remember, discipline isn't about being rigid or harsh on yourself. It's about making choices that align with your long-term success and happiness. When you commit to building this habit, you're laying the foundation for a fulfilling, purposeful life. Habit 9, mastering the art of moving in silence. The 9th habit to develop is mastering the art of moving in silence. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the noise, whether it's constantly talking about your plans, seeking validation from others, or showing off your achievements. However, the most powerful individuals often operate with a quiet confidence and let their actions speak for themselves. Moving in silence means focusing on your goals, working diligently behind the scenes, and not feeling the need to constantly broadcast your every move. It's about letting your results do the talking, rather than seeking attention or approval along the way. As Leonardo da Vinci once said, "Nothing can be loved or hated unless it is first known." This quote reflects the importance of working in silence and allowing your achievements to speak for themselves. When you're constantly talking about your plans or sharing every step of your journey, you risk losing the element of surprise and the value of your efforts. By working quietly and consistently, you keep others guessing, which adds an element of mystery and intrigue to your work. When you move in silence, you don't need external validation. Confidence becomes the foundation of your actions rather than seeking acknowledgement from others. People who are constantly talking about their plans or successes often do so because they are seeking recognition. But when you move in silence, your confidence is rooted in your ability to execute your vision without needing others to cheer you on. You're not looking for applause. You're focused on doing the work that matters to you and staying true to your own goals. This doesn't mean that you have to be secretive or deceitful. Instead, it's about focusing your energy on your goals and letting your results speak for themselves. Action over words is the key here. Instead of talking about what you're going to do, focus on doing it. When you show people what you can do, you let your success speak louder than any words ever could. As Frank Ocean wisely said, I don't want to talk about it, I want to be about it. Mastering silence also gives you the opportunity to observe and learn. When you're not constantly talking or sharing your thoughts, you can focus on listening and paying attention to what others are doing. In silence, you become more perceptive. You notice details others may overlook. You learn from the actions of others, and you gain insight that can help shape your own path. This reflective and observant nature allows you to make more thoughtful decisions, which ultimately leads to better outcomes. The power of moving in silence is most evident when you let your progress do the talking. The best example of this is the way successful people build their achievements. They don't announce every step they take. They simply get to work and produce results. These results, over time, build momentum and create the respect and recognition that they deserve. For example, in business, an entrepreneur who quietly works on developing a product or service rather than talking about it at every opportunity often ends up with a much stronger product that speaks for itself. In your daily life, moving in silence means focusing on your personal goals and not getting distracted by the opinions or expectations of others. Stop seeking approval or validation from people who don't truly understand your vision. Instead, work steadily on what's important to you and let your progress naturally draw attention when the time is right. The quieter you are about your plans, the more powerful your outcomes will be when they are revealed. Another aspect of moving in silence is not letting negative feedback or judgment affect you. When you choose to work silently, you create a shield against unnecessary criticism or distractions. Others may doubt your ideas or question your efforts, but because you're focused on your work, you don't feel the need to defend yourself. Instead of responding to every critic, you let your results serve as your defense. The beauty of this approach is that it frees you from the need to explain or justify your actions. No need for validation means that you stop seeking approval from those around you and shift your focus back to what matters, your progress. As Bruce Lee said, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. Working in silence allows you to absorb the valuable lessons and feedback you encounter while remaining unaffected by opinions that don't serve your purpose. Moving in silence also helps you avoid the pitfalls of over-explaining or oversharing. When you're too focused on talking about your plans, you risk losing energy on unnecessary discussions that don't contribute to your progress. In contrast, when you keep your thoughts to yourself and just get to work, you preserve your energy for the tasks that matter. Over time, your quiet determination will become more impressive than any lengthy explanation could ever be. To start mastering the art of moving in silence, focus on actions rather than words. Resist the urge to share every detail of your progress with others. When someone asks about what you're working on, instead of talking about it endlessly, simply say, I'm focused on my work right now, or I'll show you the results when they're ready. By doing this, you let your actions demonstrate your dedication without needing constant validation. Practice staying grounded, focused, and moving with purpose without the need to explain your every step. In the end, the habit of moving in silence will create a sense of inner peace and confidence. You won't be bogged down by the need to impress others, and you'll be able to channel your energy into your work and goals. The more you practice this, the more your results will speak for themselves, and the more you'll earn the respect and admiration of others, without ever having to boast. The quiet strength of moving in silence will become your greatest asset, allowing you to achieve your goals with grace and power. Habit 10, cultivating an unshakable mindset. The 10th and final habit to develop is cultivating an unshakable mindset. Life will always present obstacles, challenges, and moments that test your resilience. However, the ability to remain steadfast and unwavering in the face of adversity is what separates those who thrive from those who crumble. Developing an unshakable mindset means being able to face life's challenges with determination, clarity, and focus, no matter how difficult the circumstances may seem. As Nelson Mandela once said, "I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying." This quote captures the essence of an unshakable mindset. It's not about avoiding mistakes or setbacks, but about staying committed to your goals and values no matter the challenges you face. It's about keeping the faith in your own abilities even when things aren't going as planned, and understanding that failure is just a stepping stone on the path to success. An unshakable mindset begins with self-belief. You have to believe in your own ability to overcome obstacles and reach your goals, even when the road gets tough. When faced with challenges, many people become discouraged and lose faith in themselves. But those with an unshakable mindset know that their success is a result of their effort, persistence, and resilience. The key to cultivating self-belief is to recognize your strengths and capabilities and to understand that setbacks are part of the learning process, not the end of the road. One of the most powerful ways to develop an unshakable mindset is by embracing failure as part of the process. When you fail, you don't see it as a reflection of your worth or abilities, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. Every successful person has faced failure, but the difference is that they didn't let it stop them. Instead, they used it as fuel to move forward. By adopting this mindset, you stop fearing failure and instead see it as a valuable part of your journey. Each failure teaches you something new and brings you one step closer to your goal. Another key element of an unshakable mindset is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, remain strong during adversity, and keep pushing forward. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way, but how you respond is what matters most. People with an unshakable mindset are resilient because they understand that challenges don't define them. They are simply part of the process. When you face difficulties, instead of retreating or giving up, you choose to rise, adapt, and keep moving forward with the same determination you had at the beginning. Focus is also a crucial aspect of an unshakable mindset. It's easy to get distracted by external factors, whether it's other people's opinions, unexpected setbacks, or momentary frustrations. But people with a strong mindset know that their focus must remain on the bigger picture. They understand that distractions are just temporary noise and that staying focused on their goals is the only way to achieve them. By maintaining a clear sense of purpose and direction, you can block out the distractions and stay on track no matter what comes your way. A significant part of cultivating this mindset is controlling your thoughts. The mind has a powerful influence over how we experience life. Negative, self-doubting thoughts can erode your confidence and make challenges seem insurmountable. But by actively controlling your thoughts and replacing them with positive affirmations and constructive thinking, you can keep your mindset strong. For instance, when you encounter a setback, instead of thinking, "This is too difficult, I can't do this," try reframing it as, "This is difficult, but I am capable of overcoming this and learning from it." The more you practice this, the stronger your mindset becomes. In addition to controlling your thoughts, it's important to nurture your emotional well-being. An unshakable mindset requires emotional stability, knowing how to manage your emotions, not let them control you, and remain calm even when situations get tense. Emotional stability comes from self-awareness and emotional intelligence. The more aware you are of your emotions and triggers, the better you can regulate them and remain composed in difficult situations. This emotional control allows you to navigate life's challenges with clarity and confidence. Persistence is another core element of an unshakable mindset. Even when things aren't going well or when progress feels slow, persistent individuals continue to move forward. They understand that success isn't always immediate, but with consistent effort, they will get closer to their goals every day. Persistence is what keeps you going when you feel like giving up, and it's the driving force behind long-term success. By developing a persistent attitude, you strengthen your resilience and increase your chances of success, no matter how long it takes. Ultimately, cultivating an unshakable mindset is about trusting the process. You must trust that your efforts will pay off, even if you don't see immediate results. Trusting the process means believing in the power of small, consistent actions over time. It means knowing that each step you take, no matter how small, is moving you closer to your goal. When you trust the process, you stop worrying about the outcome and instead focus on doing your best in every moment. Building an unshakable mindset is a lifelong journey, but with consistent practice, you'll begin to notice a significant shift in how you handle life's challenges. You'll no longer be swayed by setbacks or doubts. Instead, you'll meet obstacles head on with confidence and resilience. With an unshakable mindset, you take control of your own destiny, moving forward with unwavering belief in your ability to succeed no matter what life throws your way. We're reaching the end of the video, and now is the time to take action. If you're ready to change your life, drop a comment below saying you're committed to making that change. No matter how hard it may seem, transformation is possible. I'll be reading every single comment, and I'll feature the most inspiring one on our channel. For your daily dose of unfiltered motivation, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey.